Good. Awesome. All right. Good evening, everyone. I am so glad that you could make it to be with us virtually this evening. My name is Tom Ancona, and I'm the McKean Center Advisor to the Common Good Grant Program. This ceremony is very special to me, especially this year when so many challenges are apparent at Bowdoin and in our communities. I believe strongly in the mission of this program, both for the direct good it does in our local communities and also for the exceptional educational experience it provides our students. Before we get started, I have a few people that I would like to thank. Please feel free to share many thankful emojis throughout these expressions of thanks. First, thank you to all our program supporters, both donors and speakers. You make this program the enriching educational experience for our students and provide them with the means to grant out funds to such wonderful community organizations. Thank you to this year's Common Good Grant Committee for the tremendous work they put in. They have met weekly since last September to learn about the work of nonprofits and foundations. They have also read and reviewed over 42 letters of intent, 20 full grant applications, and they virtually visited 13 organizations, showing an incredible thirst to learn and wonderful caring and consideration throughout the program. This is a huge commitment for a busy Bowdoin student, and I'm deeply grateful for their eager participation this year. I will hold this year particularly close in my heart, given all that these students have done to complete Common Good Grant's excellent work, even after Bowdoin went online and these students spread all over the country and world. They have worked so hard to finish up the year well, and I could not be prouder of all of them. Lastly, and certainly not least, I want to thank Amanda and Matthew, our leaders, for being incredible Common Good Grant fellows this year. Without their thoughtful hard work from our kickoff last August through today's ceremony, this program would not be what it is. They have been through incredible challenges that no other Common Good Grant leaders have had to deal with in this program's 20-year history, and they have tackled everything eagerly and with warm smiles. There is no one I would rather share a Microsoft Teams or Zoom video chat with than them. Thank you both, and I will miss working with you so closely next year. With that, I'd like to hand things over to Amanda and Matthew.
Hello, welcome and thank you all for coming to the award ceremony tonight. My name is Amanda Casano, and I'm a sophomore studying Asian Studies, Economics, and Anthropology, and I'm one of the student co-leaders of the Common Good Grant Program.
I'm Matthew Henry. I'm a math and gov major at Bowdoin, and I'm the other co-leader of the program this year. To give you some background about the program, Common Good Grant was established in 2001 by our generous alum. And through the early success of the program, committee members received a high volume of applications from worthy organizations. Unfortunately, though, the committee lacked the funds to support many of the organizations, despite all of their efforts.
As a result, the Development Committee was added to the program in 2004. In addition to gaining valuable experience in fundraising and donor cultivation, the Development Committee has had a huge impact in expanding the scope of the program by raising additional funds to augment our $10,000 yearly base. The program has since been incredibly successful, funding a total of 162 grants and awarding over $326,000 to nonprofits in the greater Brunswick area.
The Common Good Grant Program has not only given Bowdoin students the opportunity to gain experience with grant writing, fundraising, and nonprofit operations, but also gives them the opportunity to connect with their community.
Last year, we added a new element to our program, creating 4 categories for grant applications: health and human services, education and community development, arts and culture, and environment and sustainability. This year, we also continue to offer a $5,000 grant to allow for the completion of larger projects.
With these new elements of the program in mind, we initially reviewed 42 letters of intent. And after significant deliberation, we narrowed these down to 13 grant finalists for site visits. We're so grateful for the dedication of the grant committee, who faced the daunting task of evaluating so many impressive applications. And we also so appreciate the work of the development committee, whose fundraising efforts this year more than doubled our initial base and allowed us to award a total of $20,340 to 7 organizations.
We'd like to take a moment to reiterate our thanks for the immense generosity of our donors, especially in light of the current COVID-19 crisis. In addition to supporting the program financially, they've contributed their time, insight, and advice to student committee members. We'd also like to thank everyone who joined the program as a guest speaker, sharing their expertise and inspiring the group during our weekly seminars. On behalf of all of us in the Common Good Grant Program, we are incredibly grateful. Thank you so much.
Amanda and I would like to begin tonight's program by introducing, respectively, the grant and the development committees. And I'll speak about the grant committee first. So the grant committee has the challenging and rewarding task of determining which organizations will ultimately receive money. We had a record of 42 letters of intent. So this year's grant committee had no shortage of papers to read or projects to discuss. I'm exceptionally proud of their ability to thoughtfully evaluate every single proposal. As Amanda mentioned, this year the grant committee had 4 categories for applications: health and human services, education and community development, arts and culture, and environment and sustainability. To ensure that diverse needs are met, the committee committed to fund at least 1 organization in each category. The ongoing pandemic has revealed how important all 4 categories are to all of our livelihoods. Healthcare and access to food keep us alive and well. Communities rally around those in need. Art provides joy and healing. And our role as stewards of the earth has never been clearer. After learning about the Mid-Coast Maine region, the grant writing process, and multiple approaches to analyzing grants, the grant committee selected 13 organizations for site visits. While all site visits were scheduled to occur in person, due to social distancing and Bowdoin's closure, all site visits went virtual. The grant committee is incredibly grateful for the extra arrangements that nonprofits made so that conversations could happen. This year, the committee then gathered over Zoom on a Saturday night to make final funding decisions. The committee was impressed at how many organizations have adapted to current circumstances and realized that organizations may have greater demand for their services both during and after this time. This year, 7 organizations received funding, and in no particular order: Home to Home, Morris Farm, Mid-Coast Humane, Greater Portland Immigrant Welcome Center, Brunswick Area Teen Center, Art Van, and Friends of Merry Meeting Bay. These organizations exemplify our mission, and we're so grateful to have learned about all of their work. I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to oversee the grant committee, and I'm excited to see how all the organizations will contribute to the common good. And now I'll pass it over to Amanda to introduce the development committee.
Thank you, Matthew. The Development Committee's primary mission is to connect with donors over a shared mission to contribute to the greater good in the Mid-Coast Maine community by supplementing our $10,000 annual grant base. With the efforts of the Development Committee and the generosity of our donors, we're able to make a greater positive impact on local organizations. The Development Committee gains a hands-on understanding of the challenges of fundraising and, of course, making the ask. Through a supportive network of Common Good Grant alumni and local community members, we solicit donations and explore the community interests that they find most engaging. We meet with donors in pairs throughout the winter and early spring with the goal of providing the grant committee with their greatest possible funding capacity by decision day. Part of what we do is akin to a sales pitch. We know that donors have a wide range of organizations to which they can directly donate, so why choose us? The answer to that question comes from understanding the core mission of the Common Good Grant Program, which is to strengthen the bonds between Bowdoin College and the greater Brunswick community, and to educate students on their power to make a difference through nonprofit work in the world around them. Despite difficulties imposed by the current health crisis, the Development Committee was able to raise over $10,000 this year due to the incredible generosity of our donors. Perhaps now more than ever, these grants will have a significant and positive impact for the local Mid-Coast community. I'd like to thank our in-person donors who graciously invited us into their homes or offices to talk with us and contribute to this great program. When I say their names, please share your virtual applause so you may recognize their contribution to the program. Vin and Cheryl DeCara, Doug and Jane Collins, Rich and Ann Fudge, Mike Rainan, David Treadwell, Winnie Chan, Cal and Sally McKenzie, Sarah Seams, Ed Jr. and Nancy Langbein, Hugh and Surrey Hardcastle, Brownie Carson, Steve Peck, Secondly, I'd like to thank all of our virtual donors, most of whom are Common Good Grant alumni who want to give back to this program. Lydia Bell, Megan Belrose, Zenzel Best, Caitlin Callahan, Shelby Davis, Ryan Davis, Michelle Johnson, Chris Knight, Jordan Lance, Audrey Leland, Monique Willis, Danielle Lariviere, Patrick Lariviere, Sean Morris, Mitsuki Nishimoto, Justin Pearson, Sarah Richards, Stephen Shia, Marina Stam, and Rachel Turkle. Many thanks to all of our donors. The funds they have contributed this year will make a significant impact in the organizations that have received tonight's grants. I'd now like to introduce Jessica Bay, a member of this year's committee who will be presenting the awards.
Hello, my name is Jessica Shear-Hers. I'm a sophomore. I'm studying anthropology and computer science. I'm very excited to present Art Band with a grant of $2,500. They're a really cool organization and they're very near and dear to my heart. Art Band has provided the arts and arts therapy to youth in under-resourced neighborhoods for 15 years and has become an established organization for youth in many different Maine communities. With the mission of enriching the lives of youth with little to no arts access with creative projects, Art Band provides served youth with an open collaborative environment where they're able to foster their imaginations and create strong productive relationships. With the Common Good Grant, Art Band will continue to support ongoing programming for older youth ages 10 to 17 at Perryman Village, which is a housing development in Brunswick, so very close to our own campus. The grant will provide funds for the art therapists and teaching artist salaries, art materials, as well as other costs such as transportation. This program is particularly important because as older youth, they are given more freedom and an opportunity for leadership by pursuing more independent projects while also combining in the Art Band staff for guidance. As a summer fellow at Art Band, I was able to see the work that was being done at Perryman firsthand, and because of the value put into consistent long-term programming, many of the older artists become comfortable enough to even help out with the younger projects and become role models for their younger siblings and neighbors, which was really, really cool to watch. Art gives people, at least in my opinion, the ability to express themselves, and Art Band continuously succeeds in making a positive impact on the kids who really deserve a creative outlet, even when they aren't necessarily given one in other situations. So I am very, very happy to invite Jamie to virtually accept this grant on behalf of Art Band and say a few words about it.
Yay! Thank you, Jessica, and the whole Bowdoin milieu. And it's wonderful to see you, Jessica, virtually.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
My gratitude is deep. My words chosen for speeches are probably less easy to come by than if I was to do a painting for you all of how grateful I am to Bowdoin for this award and all that you do in the larger community as a foundation, as students, as interns, as community members. I see you around, and it's very heartwarming. And I appreciate Maggie and Zane. It's good to see you because at the time we were connecting, Art Band had just moved to a new office space, a new location, and we hadn't gotten the password for the internet. And so we figured out how to do this with phone by trying to talk to myself, both of you, and my staff, and also a youth who's been part of Art Band since 6th grade, who's now 20 and was home from college, working with us as we were doing what we could think of to best serve our neighborhoods without the direct services. We were packing art bags, modeling how farmers markets were delivering their produce. We made a decision to deliver brand new, sanitized, safe art materials to 7 neighborhoods and 4 communities a couple of weeks ago, just before the school break. And so we had just started that, and you guys just jumped in and were part of hearing that momentum. So we were just not in our usual kind of programming, and yeah, like everyone, adjusting to change. And we just wanted to continue to do something, and safely. And we did that. And there's a lot of grateful children and parents and property managers, that really appreciated what we did. We gave out 157 art bags, and we're going to do it again in May. So I'm sorry about that. I'm home, I guess, right? So thank you all. Yeah. Should I say more? No. Onward. Yeah.
I think I'm next.
Yes.
Yeah, I can just get going. Hi, everyone. My name is Marie. I'm a senior majoring in environmental studies and biology. So environmental issues are definitely near and dear to my heart and like my academic career. So I'm particularly pleased to be presenting the Friends of Merrymeeting Bay with an award of $2,500 to support their efforts to upgrade the water quality classification in the lower Androscoggin. So founded in 1975, Friends of Merrymeeting Bay has worked tirelessly to support environmental protection of the Merrymeeting Bay watershed through education, legal action, conservation work, and grassroots activism. Over the past few decades, Friends of Merrymeeting Bay has hosted an annual speaker series at Curtis Memorial Library here in Brunswick. They've conserved hundreds of acres of shoreline, and they've also organized consistent volunteer water quality monitoring in the bay and its tributaries since 1999. So the Androscoggin has had a long history of heavy pollution and environmental degradation. And so as the poster child for the Clean Water Act, I find it particularly inspiring that Friends of Merrymeeting Bay is working to use language in that legislation to ensure the river's continued protection. So their goal is to upgrade the Androscoggin River's water quality classification from a C to a B on the section between the Rorombo Dam in Lisbon Falls and the actual Merrymeeting Bay. So this change would reflect current conditions in the Androscoggin and legally prevent water quality degradation. So achieving this takes valuable time and effort, and it requires water quality data to support that legal action, as well as grassroots support from neighboring communities. So with the additional funding from the Common Good Grant, the Friends of Merrymeeting Bay will be able to purchase additional materials for bacterial sampling, as well as provide staffing to train those volunteers and conduct public outreach. The Common Good Grant recognizes that the health of our environment reflects the overall health and well-being of our communities. So we're very grateful to the Friends for spearheading efforts to steward our local watershed. So no representative of Friends of Merrymeeting Bay is able to attend tonight, but we did want to virtually acknowledge all the work that their organization does. I'm going to now invite Jackson to present the next award. Thanks.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackson Coyle, and I'm a first year intending to study economics and computer science. Tonight, I'm proud to present a $2,500 grant to Morris Farm. Morris Farm is both a working farm and an educational resource for the communities of Midcoast Maine. The farm promotes environmentalism through sustainable agriculture, education, demonstration, and community involvement, while supporting food security in the greater Midcoast region. This year's grant of $2,500 will help Morris Farm implement their buying club program for the food insecure. This program, titled Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, or SNAP for short, allows those who are food insecure to receive fresh and healthy food from local farms. Through the SNAP program, Morris Farm is a venue facilitating the Maine Farm Fresh Rewards Program. The buying club will take advantage of this USDA program. in which every dollar spent on local food purchases, FFR gives recipients a $2 coupon towards locally sourced fruits and vegetables in their next purchase. With the hope of having 35 families join this buying club, this grant will be used to buy a full-sized walk-in cooler to house the produce needed to support this program. We are thrilled to help Morris Farm expand the reach of this incredible service that they provide to their community. Please welcome Candice Moyer to accept this grant on behalf of Morris Farm and to say a few words.
Thank you, Jackson, and thank you to the Mckean Center for the Common Good for your generous award. With the funding that you granted us, we plan to use the award to build a walk-in cooler for our farm store, and the additional refrigeration will allow the Morris Farm store to accommodate more produce for the food security project that's serving the local food insecure population. Jackson just did a beautiful job of explaining the program, so I can eliminate some of the things that I was going to say. So in doing so, we will be able to provide greater fruit and vegetable access to the low-income residents of the Mid-Coast Maine area and provide a new revenue stream for local producers, which is a very timely thing for them at this time. The Morris Farm Food Security Project may also provide a model for local organization and farmers to work together using these USDA programs. So we're hoping that we can extend it on to others as it goes forward. So the Morris Farm Trust is pleased to continue promoting the values of sustainable agriculture and stewardship of the earth through education, demonstration, and community involvement. And we wholeheartedly appreciate your generosity in supplying us with the resources for the project's implementation. And thank you again for your kindness.
Hello, my name is Firo, and I'm a first year studying biology and anthropology. I'm very pleased to present a grant for the amount of $5,000 to Home to Home. Home to Home is a Brunswick-based organization that seeks to provide a safe and supervised setting for families with divorced or separated parents during visitations. In abusive and high conflict relationships, visitation exchanges can be dangerous for children and parents. Home to Home provides a way for non-custodial parents to see their children in a monitored and low-stress environment, thus keeping all parties safe, protected, and supported. Currently, Home to Home's only online presence is through a Facebook page, which does not adequately serve their needs. The funds they are receiving today will help create a website for their program in order to increase visibility and get in touch with more families that are in need. The grant will also be used to create printed materials to be distributed to the communities they serve in order to increase awareness of the program, and a parent guide about the visitation process and activities in which to participate with their child during supervised times. Their hope is to increase knowledge of the program so they are able to help and assist as many families as possible. The additional funds from the $5,000 grant will allow Home to Home to increase their scholarship fund, lowering the cost of their services from $35 to $10 an hour. The grant will also allow Home to Home to fund 100 hours of supervised visitation. 85% of those who utilize their services are low income, and this scholarship fund has the potential to have a dramatically positive effect on the local community. Please welcome Annie Sarbanis and Claudette Bratzel to accept this grant on behalf of Home to Home and to share a few words.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mer. Hello, Song. It's nice to see you again. Claudette and I and all of Home to Home are incredibly honored to be selected for this award. We, especially now, given the current circumstances, we anticipate that there's going to be a large need for our services. It's not as fun or exciting as some of the services, which I'm so thrilled to hear about. Being a former art major myself, that art van sounds incredible. I'm very excited about that. But it is a need. There is a real need in high conflict divorces and relationships, separations where children are involved. There is a real need for supervised visitation. And in communities where are strong and available supervised visitation programs, there is a significant decrease in in violence against children in domestic abuse situations. So it's a program that we're very proud of, that there's a very big need for in all communities. And given the light of the current situation where so many homes are experiencing uncertainty and economic and health concerns, it is certainly something that is a present need for our community in the coming weeks, months, and unfortunately, most likely years. So we are very excited about being able to expand our outreach and make our program that much more accessible and that much more the goal of the handbook is to really, a lot of times parents who need our services are hesitant to ask for them because of the stigma and because of the fear that they may have around what supervised visitation looks like. So we're hoping with the handbook and the guide for parents that they'll at least be able to get a little bit better of an idea that they can have a really meaningful connection with their child, that there's not going to be, some like third party present breathing down their neck telling them what to do and how to be. We're really just there to keep the peace and to make sure that the child feels safe and that mom and dad are also safe. So really grateful to this opportunity. Thank you.
Yes, and I'd like to say thank you as well. And thank you, Mayor, for such a very succinct description of what we do. I was a school teacher for 39 years. I grew up in Brunswick. I volunteered for this organization a little bit, I was looking for something to do after retirement. Now I'm the co-president and grant writer as well with Annie. I never realized how important something like this can be until I actually did supervised visitations. And I saw how much, no matter how troubled families are through divorce, the parents love their children. And the non-custodial parent deserves a right to have a safe visitation with their children. And as I deliver the child from one parent to the next, and they break away from me and run into the arms of the other parent, it just brings tears to my eyes, but makes me understand how important this is. And we're working very hard to make the organization more available and more responsive. I'll never forget the father who gave me a roll of quarters, $10 for his visit, and it was his laundry money. And so you realize just how hard it is for some of these people to make ends meet and to do the best they can for their kids, but they really want to do it. So thank you very much for your support. We really appreciate it.
All right, and I think Kevin will be next.
There we go, sorry. Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us here today. My name is Kevin and I'm a first year student studying economics and government. Today, I'm excited to present the Common Good Grant Award to the Brunswick Area Teen Center. And established in 2005, the Brunswick Area Teen Center is a free after-school and summer drop-in center for youths in grades 6 to 12. Primarily utilized by those from low-income or insecure homes, which may preclude them from adequate social opportunities. The Teen Center serves as a safe place and preventative program for kids to gather with friends for recreation, socialization, and to receive positive mentoring from staff. The Teen Center has also helped quite a few teens get their first job through resume reviews, interview practice, and support with job applications. With over 3,000 visits in 2019, the Teen Center has introduced 3 additional staff members to their team who work closely with youths. The Common Good Grant Award will be put towards offsetting these staffing costs, expanding program activities to utilize the full space of the facility, and promoting opportunities for youth to form interpersonal relationships with mentors. I'm excited for students to return to the Brunswick Area Teen Center once circumstances have stabilized In the meantime, would love to invite Jordan Cardone to accept this grant on behalf of the organization and say a few words.
Hi. Hi, I'm Jordan Cardone, and thank you very, very much. We really appreciate this grant, and I really appreciate the ability of the Common Good grant, the Common Good group, for being able to follow through on this under these circumstances. I'm sure it has been extremely challenging for you to do, but I love our program. The kids love our program. I miss them so much. They can't wait to come back, and it's been a tough go, during this virus, but our program has grown each year. It continues to grow immensely. We had to do a waiting list for the first time ever this past year. The added staff has been wonderful. We are trying to serve as many kids as we can in any way that we can. So the more, we added staff so we could take on the added kids, and it's been a wonderful experience, and we couldn't do it without support like yours. So thank you. Thank you very much.
I would now like to invite Maddie Miller to present the next award.
Thanks, Kevin. Hi, I'm Maddie Miller. I'm a sophomore studying history and government, and I'm thrilled to present Midcoast Humane with a Common Good grant of $2,500. Midcoast Humane is in the unique position of being the only organization from Falmouth to Washington County that provides reduced cost veterinary services and free pet food to in-need rural communities. Their pet food pantry partnerships provides this region with nearly 30,000 pounds of pet food every year, while their rural services program offers low-cost vaccinations, spay and neuter vouchers, veterinary services, and microchip clinics at free and reduced costs. This amazing program aims to keep beloved pets in their families' homes and reduce the number of surrendered animals in this region. So with this grant, Midcoast Humane will be able to devote increased staff hours to enhance their pet food pantry partnerships and better track the efficiency and quality of their programs. These improvements will allow them to hone their efforts in on the greatest unmet needs for pet owners in our community. So I'd like to welcome Dante Granatero to accept this grant on behalf of Midcoast Humane and to share a few words.
Thank you, Maddie, and good to see you again, virtually, of course. Thank you, Common Good Committee, on behalf of all of the staff, board of directors, of course, the puppies and the kittens. Thank you. We cannot do this kind of work without the support of the community. We get the kind of support that you've given us with this grant. Specifically, in this case, for our pet food pantry partnerships, that is a huge need in the mid-coast area, especially when you start getting into those rural areas. It wouldn't delight you to know how many people will spend the very little money that they do have to feed their pets as opposed to feeding themselves. So this kind of program there's a dearth of these kind of programs up in the area where people need to find food for their pets just as much as themselves. So for us to be able to expand this program, to take this program and bring it to the people that really need it in the area in order to keep their pets in their home, we are unimaginably and beyond grateful for it, because we see the need, we feel the need. Somebody comes in and say, we need to give up our pets. Why? Because we can't afford food. Well, hang on a second. We've got funders who are helping us to help you. So like Maddie said, 30,000 pounds of food a year. We hit over 1,100 households each month. Many of them are recurring households. I know our partners, Mid-Coast Hunger Prevention, they're a big one. Dog Will up in Bath, I know they have recurring clients who they know by name, and it's one of those things, much like the stigma with coming forward when you need help. Being able to reach more people is just something that we take very seriously, and we are very excited to do. So thank you for that opportunity to expand this program. Thank you for allowing us to help the people in our neighbors to keep their pets with access to food. It's just insurmountable, really insurmountable. So thank you.
That's great. Thank you for your words. I'd like to invite Leif to present our next award.
Hello, my name is Leif Maynard, and I am a first-year prospective government major and Hispanic Studies minor. I'm very excited to present the Greater Portland Immigrant Welcome Center with $2,500 award from the Common Good Grant Program. Co-founded by 2 immigrants, the Greater Portland Immigrant Welcome Center serves as a hub for collaboration that strengthens the community of immigrants through language acquisition, economic integration, and civic engagement. The center's vital programs have included an immigrant business incubator, English learning programs, and citizenship application support for new Mainers. Key to GPIWC's philosophy is the idea that immigrants thrive when they have a network to support each other, and Maine thrives when its immigrant communities feel welcomed and rooted in their new homes. Ahead of the 2020 election, GPIWC established a Get Out the Vote campaign, leveraging partnerships with trusted immigrant community groups to break down barriers for new Mainers to register and vote. The Common Good Grant will help launch the civic engagement effort this summer, allowing GPIWC to register over 300 voters and send out 200 absentee ballots. Initially, this was going to take the form of a canvassing campaign, but due to the pandemic, the funds will now be used to download software and train volunteers for a targeted phone banking campaign and create literature to help new voters through the process. The COVID-19 crisis is severely magnifying the challenges immigrants already face when navigating the civic process, so this initiative is more important now than ever. I had the pleasure of speaking with co-founder Damas Rugaba about his vision for a virtual Get Out the Vote effort, and I'm confident GPIWC will not only engage more immigrants in the civic process ahead of the 2020 election, but also build lasting digital infrastructure that will increase underrepresented voter participation for years to come. Please join me in welcoming Damas Rugaba to accept this grant on behalf of the Greater Portland Immigrant Welcome Center.
Thank you, Leif, and the Common Grant Committee, and thank you, Margaret, as well. I know we talked, you were able to arrange the virtual visit. We are very grateful for this grant, and maybe most of you may not know that most immigrants, they come from places where they haven't practiced democracy, or whatever democracy has been there. It sends bad memories. That's the time for violence. That's the time they force you to go and vote. So many immigrants tend not to be engaged into civic engagement. And in this country, sometimes people take democracy for granted. But for us, we know what it means to us, because I was able to vote myself for the first time when I was 40 years old in this country. I never voted before. Not because I didn't want to, but because of those circumstances. And so this grant will really help us. In the past 2 years, we've been focusing on the Greater Portland region. And this time we're going to focus on, and in the Greater Portland region, we've been very successful, especially using partnerships with organizations like League of Women Voters, specifically because they have all these translated materials that facilitate our work to educate our communities. And we partnered with local housing properties like Avesta Housing that houses a lot of immigrants to do canvassing and voter education. So this grant was to expand our reach to the Lewiston urban area, Augusta. And recently, we know there's some folks that have been moving down the Brunswick area as well. So we are very grateful, and we'll use, most importantly, this to do virtual trainings on phone banking, as he explained, on software that we could use to reach out to people. And hopefully, with time, we'll get it. And I've been here 20 years, and if you look at the shift of the increased immigrant population in Maine, it's incredible. I came here when I could spend days without seeing a Black person on the street. But now I don't even bother listening to a language that goes around me. So I think this is about time that we start engaging our people into civic engagement. And we are very grateful for the support of Common Grant donors and the tremendous work that the committee did to make this a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Damas. I would now like to welcome Sarah Seams, Director of the Mckean Center, to say a few words to end tonight's ceremony.
Actually, really quick before Sarah goes, I want to take one last picture of everybody. So before people start to sign off, so could everybody wave real quick? And I'm just going to grab a picture. Thank you.
You all set, Tom?
Yep.
Great. Wow. So I have the pleasure every year of giving some quick closing remarks at this event when we are on campus at Bowdoin. And I always say that this is my favorite event of the year. And I have to give it to you all. You've made that consistent this year as well in these very unusual circumstances. I think we all need inspiration where we can find it right now. And this has certainly been that for me. I want to give some quick acknowledgement to Tom Ancona, who is the staff person from the Mckean Center who runs the Common Good Grant program. So he works with these students all year long. And there was zero hesitation when Bowdoin moved to a virtual education model for the remainder of the semester. No hesitation from Tom about adapting this program to continue. And also kudos to Matthew and Amanda for sticking with it, and for all of our students who have been a part of the program. It would have been really understandable if you all hadn't been able to continue, and you did. You made this a priority, and we really appreciate it. I think that it's obvious that all of these organizations are really deserving and that their services are needed now more than ever. They're always important parts of our community, keeping our community strong. And right now, in uncertain times, we know that they are adapting and changing to meet the new needs of our communities. And so we're really excited to be able to provide some financial support and hopefully continued partnership as they continue this work. And I want to thank all the partners for the work that they do. I also want to give a really big thank you again to the donors who hopefully will have a chance to watch this recording. We so appreciate you, and the program literally is not possible without the donors. And one of the fantastic things about this program is that donors could, and probably do also, give directly to the organizations that they are inspired by and care most about in the community. But they see the value of the Common Good Grant program at Bowdoin because by giving the money to this program, it allows an educational opportunity for our students to learn about how these nonprofit organizations work, to learn about how foundations and grant processes work. And so the donation goes further. It's not just a monetary element, it's also an educational tool for our students as well. And I think that one of the things I always find most inspiring are the number of alumni who have been a part of the program who continue. So over half of the donors this year, as you heard earlier, are alumni of the Common Good Grant program. So this program really has a legacy, one that we're really proud of. We know that those donors, those students and alumni who've been a part of this program will not only stay connected with this program, but they will stay connected with the communities that they move on to. And that is a crucial piece of the work of the Mckean Center. And it's something we absolutely thank our community partners for as well, because you are a crucial part of that education for our students that keeps them connected with the common good long after they graduate. I think that that's probably a good point to wrap up with. One final thank you all around. Tom, anything to close us out?
No, I think this has been awesome. Like you said it already, but this is also my favorite event of the year, and doing it virtually has not taken anything away from it. So I think I mentioned this in my note to everybody as well beforehand, but we still, knock on wood, we really would love to have you back to campus next year for the award ceremony too. And I think if we're able to, we want to celebrate in person and get you all the Bowdoin logs that you're owed, the wonderful dessert that Bowdoin Dining usually has for us. So Let's hopefully make a date for that next year. And thank you all so much for taking the time to join us tonight. So we really appreciate it. And it made the ending to this year really special.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you all.
Stay
Thanks,
safe.
Oh, well.
And then there were 3.
It was so entertaining to watch everyone leave.
You can turn off the recording now too, Amanda.
Oh, yes, thank you for